Hey, what's going on? So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I helped an offer go from $108,000 cash collected in 1 month with a 61% show up rate to $330,000 cash collected with an 80% show up rate in 1 month. Now, clearly this doesn't say $330,000. That's because some split payments weren't added to the document. Now, I clearly didn't do this with me dialing or setting, as you guys see my other videos. What I do now is I am a setter manager. So I don't dial or set anymore myself. I manage setters, right? So I train setters within offers, and I also manage them, creating new setting processes and things like that. Now, I did film a video, an in-depth video with the growth operator of this offer, where we go into detail about this offer, and you guys will hear more about his perspective, right, and how we did this. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch that, that will be in the link in the description below. All right. So basically, what I did when I first came on this offer was I figured out what the biggest bottleneck was in the setting process. Right. So I wanted to figure out all the numbers here. So what was the set close rate looking like? What was the set show rate? What was the pickup rate? Right. What did the frameworks look like? What scripts were we using? Proper KPIs? Why weren't the sets closing? Objection handling, right? Things like that. Now, once I figured all this stuff out, which I'll go how I did that here in a bit, what we did was we hired on another setter, and then we also hired on another closer, which was huge for us. All right, I'm not going to sit up here and say that like I single-handedly did all this. Definitely had help. The closer that we brought on, she's a stud. Like she literally crushed it. Right. So did our current closer as well. So keep in mind that in order for all this stuff to work, you have to have solid closers or decent closers, and we just so happen to have exceptional closers that are like top 1% on the offer, right? Now, that ended up leading us to have two setters and two closers within the offer. So what I did is I reverse engineered the process, right? I went through the EOD reports to see what was going right, what was going wrong, reading everything on there. I got feedback from closers on why the sets weren't closing, and there was a few things on why they weren't closing. So I'll scroll up here for you guys. So some of them, or one of them, was financial qualifying people. So the leads that the setters were setting onto the calendar, number one, they weren't financially qualified. Number two, the partner objection, we weren't figuring out if they had another partner or a spouse who could help them make that decision. And then number three was the time. So we weren't figuring out if they had the time to allocate towards trading, right? So that was huge. What I did was to overcome that is I put that in the framework that we had or that I made for the setters. So that way, and I highlighted it, right, purple, to make sure we had to ask these questions every single time before we set the call. If we don't, then that's not a good set. Now, I figured out what were the common trends on why people weren't setting and why people weren't closing. And then I created new systems, frameworks, objection handlers, things like that, right, for the most common objections they were getting. So for the think about it objection. So how it works is we have a lead magnet of like a free course. And a lot of people, they wanted just to go through their free course and then not book that other call with us. So hence, that's why we had to think about an objection. They wanted to go through the free course first. So I made an objection handler for that, and that helped us with the higher set rate as well. And then weekly calls and one-on-ones with these setters. So I have 2 weekly group calls with the setters, and then one-on-one call with each of them per week. And on the group calls, we go over call reviews, role plays, Q&As, right? So, and then exercise as well, exercises. Now, the one-on-one calls is more so for like personal development, like connection, right? Really getting to know who each other are and what questions or problems you're dealing with in sales and also in your daily life too. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's very simple. All I did was I just took my knowledge from me setting and on previous offers into this offer, right? And just training up the setters, figuring out their bottlenecks, and then just reverse engineering that. I mean, the reason why this works is because I've done the work. You can't just dial or set for like a couple months or a few months and then expect to like do stuff like this. Like I've been in the trenches. I've been dialing, cold calling, right? Outbound dialing for like 2 years, plus a bit of closing on and off. So that's why we were able to get the results that we were able to. And I know for a fact that we're going to reach 500K a month this summer and then a million a month sooner or later. So if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, go ahead and DM me on my Instagram. It's in the description, or just write it down in the comment section below.